Northeast coming to Sacred Heart to our ECC. We're gonna have 3.
Really? What happened there? That's all right.
That's really
We've
good.
been praying for you guys.
Thank you. Prayers have been answered. Yeah, a young guy is gonna come help us out.
How did you do that? How could just the funerals alone?
Did Paul Drake come on April 8th?
Right.
Yes.
He did. I must have been gone. That
You
must
were.
be the meeting I was gone.
Yep.
Oh.
It's the longest
Taking that laundry back to the first part.
Call the meeting to order, and we'll begin with the opening invocation.
God of the universe, all the way down to this very room, we thank you for who you are and know yourself to be. We just thank you for the incredible spring that you have been giving to us yet again in the rhythm of life that you've created. We lift up each one in this room to you. Thank you for their part. We lift up the agenda and all that unfolds in the evening in your Emmanuel presence. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
We'll recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome everyone to tonight's meeting. Before we approve tonight's agenda, I would like to propose that we move item 15 up and address that item after item number 6, if that would be okay with everyone.
I would like to see that myself.
Anybody opposed to that? All right, so then I'll ask for the approval of the agenda with the above modification.
So moved?
Second.
Motion by Mary, second by John. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Brings us item number 4, which is the consent calendar, which are the minutes of our last meeting, April 22nd, and the payment of bills.
So moved.
Second. Motion by John, second by Mary Jo. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. All right, we'll address item number 5, which is a public hearing to consider request to vacate a portion of the north-south alley located north of Pleasant Avenue Northeast between 2nd Street Northeast and 3rd Street Northeast. Is there anyone here for that purpose?
Just for information's sake, on the screen up here, this high school parking lot, you see where the football field is over here, just so everybody knows exactly what property we're proposing to vacate. This piece right here in the center of that. The Olson home used to be located on this lot. The school did acquire that property from the Olsons, and what they're proposing to do is to increase the size of that parking lot. That's just not big enough for the number of students at private school. So when we talked about this before, there was a question brought up as far as the easement across that. So the ordinance does retain the utility easement in the platted alley portion that's supposed to be vacated, and then the school district did grant us an easement that would run from that point up into the Park Avenue corridor. So if we ever had to get some other utilities or something up there, we would have the ability to do that. So, but that this little piece right down here is the alley that's being
questions or concerns in regards to that? I will close the public hearing. And move on to item number 6, which is to consider first reading of ordinance 556 to vacate a portion of the north-south alley located north of Pleasant Avenue Northeast between 2nd Street Northeast and 3rd Street Northeast.
So moved.
Second. Okay.
Motion by Roy, second by Doug. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. And then, as our modification to the agenda, we will now consider a proposal from Mid-Minnesota Federal Credit Union.
So, we have representatives from the credit union, Bob Garretts, Terry Pliska, HDD architect Sean Loyne, here to be able to answer any questions. First of all, I'm going to make sure everybody knows what property we are talking about. So east of 8th Street, on the north side of Highway 10, all of this is your packet, starting on page 40. If you want to cruise down there, there's some proposed site plans and that type of information in there. But I think everybody is familiar with some of the property that the city owns over there that we acquired, not only for blight removal, but also for future commercial development. And we've got property on Highway 10, and then we have also that property north of the alley, a couple of 50 up there. So with that, what the information that's in your packet, we basically have a proposal from the Minnesota Federal Credit Union to acquire 75 feet on the north side of Highway 10 from the city of Staples, which would leave us 125 feet for other future development. And then to acquire about a 30 by 80 strip across here for additional parking that they would control, basically for employee parking. That was, I think, kind of a little bit of negotiation to try and preserve as much Highway 10 frontage development property as we could. And I think it'll work well for the credit union as well. So anyway, what their proposal for that property is $45,568.60 at $350 a square foot in there, and you can see kind of the color plan here. The green is the area that they would that they're proposing to purchase from the city. Now, the yellow is what we would have left over there for other future development. And then the two homes that are located in here at 803 and 807, I believe they have a purchase agreement or option to purchase with those homeowners if they're able to acquire the city property. And I don't know, guys, if you have anything to add to that, or timelines, or anything?
Mayor, council members, and staff. Sean Urboyne with HTG Architects. Just a clarification, working with Gerald, we initially showed, if you're in your packet, it shows 85 by 30. Understanding they want to have a north access to 2nd from that alleyway, so we would reduce down to 80 to help navigate to get that width that you would require for that alleyway. Just as a clarification, just also to add is, the credit union's been a longstanding commercial business in the community and would love to navigate its way towards Highway 10. And I had actually initiated this conversation with Gerald over a year ago. We did some driving around and noticed that the city owns some property along 10, noticed the Casey's development, which I think worked very well. And we just want to continue that as we move east along Highway 10, understanding that was kind of the overall development plan for the city of Staples. Really what they're trying to do is replicate what we did in Wadena for them over there by the Walmart. So that would be a very similar building, a few nuances because of the size of the site, and it's a little bit longer than square, but it would have the same character feel. They'd have roughly around 8 staff, is what I understand at start. And so they would bring that staff that's over further back north in the community onto Highway 10. Anything you'd want to add, Bob, at all?
I would, yeah, from a staffing perspective, I would just add, the additional visibility, I think, is gonna help us with some of the visiting services that we bring. So we do financial advising, business lending, those sorts of things. We would call it hoteling. So there'll be 8 staff on site, and then, you know, at any given point, you know, 1, 2, or 3 others in other ways. And it's one of the reasons we like the visibility better. It's just, you know, we think it's gonna drive a little bit more traffic in those areas, which is prone here, but, so, thanks, Sean.
And this fits within their corridor reach. So they're up in Detroit Lakes as you come down through Wadena, Fergus Falls, they're in Little Falls, actually Baxter, Brainerd. So this works really well with their demographic and geographic areas. So, but they're really excited about the new opportunity and would love the opportunity to move on Highway 10. So any questions?
No, I think that'll be a great use for that green space that we work so hard to obtain.
Yeah, and I think with the addition or removal of some of the older houses, I think that's kind of what you're trying to do, is upgrade the corridor feel as you come through Staples, so along Highway 10. So, but thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Where do we go from there? I said, where do we go from there?
So our process, obviously, we do need to go through an ordinance process in order to be able to sell the property. But if, you know, conceptually, the council is in agreement with it, we would go ahead and probably modify this just slightly to add some contingencies in there as far as the ordinance being approved and adopted by the city. It'll all happen within your 120-day period on those other properties. So. Okay.
I think it's a
Council
consensus from the council. Go forward,
Yeah.
so. We'll go ahead and move forward with the process. Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you for doing that in our community. And for doing. That's always so good.
All right. That moves us to item number 7 now. Consider second reading and adoption of the ordinance 553, amending section 109-5 of the city code of the city of Staples.
553, and again, this is the second reading, just bringing that non-conforming use and structure part of our city code into compliance with state statute.
So moved.
Motion by Roy, second by Mary. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Move to item number 8, consider second reading and adoption of ordinance 554, amending section 109-123 of the city code of the city of Staples.
So again, second reading, this is something the Planning and Zoning Commission spent several months going over the entire sign ordinance, say that fast. What we have here is the result of that, and so their recommendation is to approve the amended sign ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by John, second by Mary Jo. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item 9 is to consider purchase agreement with the Blue Spruce Properties LLC for lots 1 through 11, Block 2, Valley View neighborhood.
Copy of the purchase agreement is in your packet. This was the subject of a couple of closed meetings as we negotiated with Blue Spruce Properties, which is Joe Hammers out of the Perham area. The Terms of the purchase would be for that property, $96,000. And then, you know, there's additional terms on the back. You know, we had, at the first meeting, talked about duplexes. They wanted the flexibility to do fourplexes. So we got that modified, but, you know, basically, at least 8 units within 48 months. So, and this would also, you know, the purchase agreement is contingent on, you know, approval of the tax increment financing district, which we would kick that process off on the next agenda item. I'd be looking for approval of the purchase agreement.
So moved?
Second.
Motion by Mary, second by Roy. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Brings us item number 10, consider approval of resolution 1989, calling public hearing on the establishment of a tax increment housing district number 1-12 within municipal development district number 1 and the adoption of a tax increment financing plan relating thereto.
Copy of the resolution is also in your packet. And again, basically what it's doing is scheduling a public hearing for June 24th.
Make a motion for the approval.
Second?
Motion by John, second by Mary. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item 11, consider proposal of David Drone Associate Incorporated for developing consulting services in regards to the TIP district.
So a copy of the proposal from David Drown Associates is in your packet. Basically, they are proposing it by way of compensation, $5,500 to create the district, and then $1,500 if they end up getting involved in the development terms and putting those agreements together. We have typically used David Drown Associates for that. But if we agree to this, we would only pay that if we had them doing it going forward. But they basically, they're our advisor that is utilized for tax increment stuff. So we definitely want to make sure we're doing it right. I would recommend approval of their, or acceptance of their proposal.
So moved.
Second.
You second it, John? Motion by Roy, second by John. Is there any discussion?
So do they pay those dollars, or does that get rolled into all of the others, or is that a city expenditure?
The development fees, so we would end up paying it on the front end, but then we recoup that with the first increment or two when that starts flowing in. And that's the same way we've done it on all the other districts.
I know, but I won't live long enough to fully understand TIP financing.
Mary.
I'll put together some kind of PowerPoint.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item 12 is to consider approval of resolution 1990, liquor licenses for the 2025-2026 year.
A copy of the resolution is in your packet. We've got Lefties, Beck's, B&B's, Ernie's, Batcher Block, Ives, Liquor Depot, and Costa Azul. Is that how you pronounce that? So we've got in there. I think Chief has checked all those out and recommend approval of those.
So moved. Second.
Motion by John, second by Doug. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Motion carried. Item 13, consider approval of resolution 1991, accepting donations.
Whole list of donations coming in for the bike rodeo. I want to thank all the people that helped support that event, which was last week, and recommend approval or acceptance of the donations.
So moved.
Second?
Motion by John, second by Mary. Is there any discussion? I'd just like to add that was once again, just a super event. I think we had over 103 kids. 104 kids were there. And they gave out some really nice stuff. And it's just nice to see all these surplus organizations and volunteers come together. And it was very, very nice. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Charlotte, go ahead.
Item 14, consider request to close 3rd Street Northeast between 3rd Avenue Northeast and 4th Avenue Northeast between 6 and 9 p.m. on May 23rd.
So we received a request from Staples Motley Middle High School Principal Debbie Ferdon, basically to close that one block out in front of the gymnasiums for graduation that evening.
They're having the grad blast at the high school this year too.
I'll make a motion to approve the request to close 3rd Street.
Second.
Motion by John, second by Doug. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. We already addressed item 15, so that brings us to committee reports, and we have Public Works Commission.
We had several items on our last Public Works Commission meeting, so if anybody has any questions on anything, just let me know. First item was, some of you probably noticed downtown, some of those decorative brick sidewalks near the ped ramps. Some of the brick is starting to deteriorate. I'm guessing it's from over salting, but I did get a quote. I asked for a quote on replacing the brick and then also for decorative concrete, and the contractor said the bricks won't last and didn't even give us a quote. I think concrete is probably the better route to go anyway. So anyway, the commission recommended that we move forward with decorative concrete. It'll be just in the one intersection of 2nd and 4th. Although some of those particular ped ramps aren't that bad, just for the sake of uniformity, we'll change that whole intersection. Next item was Bolton and Mink submitted a professional service agreement. It's in the council packet. The commission recommended that we sign the agreement with Bolton and Mink, and this will be for the water and sewer project on the southwest side of town. This includes the additions that I've added. And then the commission recommends that, but we're also looking for council action to approve that as well.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
Second. So a motion by John, a second by Mary Jo. This is for the professional service agreement at Bolton and Mink, right?
This is for the engineering for the southwest portion of the project. It also includes a little bit on 2nd Street.
Did we, or did the city get that grant, or how, or what?
I believe you're asking about if the state had passed the bonding bill, which we still don't know. If we do, if the city or if the state passes the bonding bill, there may be some grant funds for this project.
So is it moving forward without a grant, or what are we, or?
That will be a decision we'll have to make. It'll have to be we'll have to look for our own funding or,
I guess I'm kind of confused, because didn't we have Bolton and Mink doing some of the preliminary work over there, or? I
oh
thought-
yeah, I mean, we, you know, we started some of the work with, you know, we had, a scaled down version of this project before, but, you know, we increased the size of it due to our water quality issues mainly. So, yeah, they have done some preliminary work. We've also, you know, we've looked at federal funding, you know, with being that we were concerned that there may be a lack of state funding and that it didn't sound favorable to get any federal funding, so we are hoping that there will be some money for the clean water funds and the drinking water funds from the state.
Through PFA, I mean, we're on that list, but without a robust bonding bill, that line's probably not getting down to us right away. And that goes for forestry too, so. But if it does, we need to be ready to go.
So we entertain a motion for that.
I made a motion for it already.
You did make a motion, okay, we're on discussion. Sorry.
How long does their research on this last? Because I know on the north side of the high school, we paid a lot of money several times to review that.
Well, just on, just for the funding source, it could go 5 years. So this plan would be the same.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, and as far as that plan sitting on the shelf, I mean, it can stay for as long as we want it to, you know. If we just kept putting it off until funding became available, that's fine. But just even alone, it can stay on the funding list for 5 years.
Okay.
That's a good question. Any other discussion? So John, you made the motion. Who made the second? Was it Mary Jo? Okay.
No. Was it you? No, it was.
Go ahead, it's me. Second.
You added down the motion in the second? Okay, so we'll go ahead and vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
We got a request from the Railroad Days Committee and then the Educational Arboretum Committee. I don't know if that's officially what they're called, but that's the group that's working on the trail to the west of the ball fields. Missouri River has a program, community event sponsorship program. So they'll give up to $1,000 per year if the city matches. So the city would also have to come up with $1,000. We got a request from both committees. The commission recommends that we give each group $500 from the city, and then Missouri River will match that and also give each group $500, thereby reaching our total for the year of $1,000. We're looking for council action to approve that as well.
So moved?
I'll abstain.
Second?
Motion by Mary, second by Doug. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
We received 2 bids for overlays this year. You can see that the initial amount that I sent out came back with the low bid of $171,000. The second bid was only $900 shorter than that, so, which tells you something how competitive the pricing was. But the low bid came from Ideal Construction. I did pare it down a little bit to fit into the budget. By paring down, Ideal still had the lower bid. So the commission accepted or recommended acceptance of that bid for overlays, and we're looking for a council action on that one. And the bids are attached in the packet.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Roy, second by John. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
We had a pretty lengthy discussion based on our citizen that was here at the last meeting to discuss traffic on Sixth Street. The commission, also the staff, does not think it's feasible to prevent commercial traffic down one residential street, or I guess any street for that matter, because all you'll do is shuffle the traffic from one street to the next. Gerald did check with 3M, and at that time, if I remember right, there was 8 trucks that had come into 3M for that week. It's not scheduled. Their trucks are hauling in parts from all over the world, different ports, different states. So it isn't a regular route, a regular timing. So to have a truck that's new to Staples, come in, probably is following his GPS if he was coming from, 210 in particular. If he came up, his GPS is going to tell him to continue straight through the stoplights, take 6th Street to 3M. Now, if there was
They're not all semis either, right? They're box trucks.
yeah, I mean, it could be any,
I don't know what the mix is on that, but it's, the most that they've had in the last 7 weeks was 8 in 1 week.
Right,
So,
right.
But we had the petition signed by people that we would, probably put that on the agenda at a future meeting, but Public Works recommendation, at least at this point, is, let's stripe some crosswalks, traffic calming, maybe slow people down a little bit.
Is he new to that street, the guy that was here, or, I mean,
They've been there for quite a while.
has he?
And it's one of those deals, 3M's been there 50-some years.
Right.
But, we're not looking for a decision or action tonight, but I thought it was valuable to have that conversation at Public Works.
We at one time were working on a truck route for that, to accommodate that, and I know that we talked about that.
Yeah, the year was 2000,
Okay?
if we can believe that. Lots changed since 2000. Obviously,
yes.
Highway 10 was on 2nd Avenue, the stoplight was at 4th Street. But, there was no overpass, but, so, anyway, we're, still looking into a few things, and,
Because I think that what we were proposing is trying to accommodate the truck traffic on both, to the industrial park and to 3M, and I think 83 was it 83? I think that was a proposed route to come to Warner Road and then on to 6th or 5th, whatever it would be, to accommodate 3M, and then likewise 255th or whatever is to
that's
the
what we
industrial
talked
park.
about back then. There was, I vividly recall a kind of one-sided conversation with, I believe, Denny Schneider from Villard Township about County Road 83.
Well, their GPS isn't gonna tell them to turn on 83 and to get in here, and they're not gonna know until they get in here, and then what?
And that's one of the challenges, you all of a sudden get
Right.
right to here, where do you go?
Well, if it's a designated truck route, it would be put on the GPS. I mean,
Yeah, and I don't know what the process is for that, but we have trucks that go, some one time or another all over the place in town, so.
right, but I mean, I don't know if we could look at that again. I know things have changed out there because 83 was upgraded since then.
Yeah, it's a different road, but like I say, we were talking about things that we could do on 6th Street in particular to slow things down. And,
Right, but it would also, If they came from the other end, it wouldn't be the issue was resolved, right?
For the people on this side.
Right. We'd have to put the crosswalks out
By the
2 blocks
townhouses,
instead of
by the townhouses.
20 blocks or 10 blocks. Yeah, whatever. I'm just saying that might be something we want to look into a little bit more.
Ultimately, we did talk about adding crosswalks to all 4 corners on 6th and 7th.
He calls me.
On both sides, or, 6th and Park, 7th and Park, 6th and 7th of Iowa too. So before adding 4 crosswalks, those actually, they're shown to, be somewhat effective for traffic control. They're probably not going to slow everybody down, but,
Oh, I just.
nothing.
Sometimes the squeaky wheel gets the grease and when the wheels start squeaking further on either side and pretty soon they want crosswalks and they want all the other stuff too. So I mean, I just,
Right,
sometimes the easy fix isn't always the best, or whatever might work.
Crosswalks are gonna be associated with the park though.
Yes.
right. They'd only be in the parkway.
Expanding into the residential.
You would drive entirety of 6th Street without seeing one until you came to the park.
Yeah,
Which,
right.
there you would have some, it would stand out a little. But anyway.
So it'll be on a future agenda here.
Yeah, actually, so. And the last item was, we've discussed before about returning boulevard trees, in particular on 4th Street when the project comes through. Several, maybe perhaps most of the trees on the boulevard will have to come out, because of different water and sewer services and also storm sewer. That's gonna be the biggest culprit. So we've had discussions about this in the past, and then at the commission meeting, I did show some pictures where you can see where a lot of the trees that you remove, you could replant just on the other side of the sidewalk on private property. Ultimately, the commission recommends that that's what we do, but we will, before the project occurs, we'll come up with a policy of the city, giving a tree to a property owner, but with a requirement that, it doesn't go in your backyard and, perhaps a certain distance from a sidewalk and things like that. But we'll have to come up with those parameters, but the commission did recommend that we do not replace, put boulevard trees back in the boulevard. That's also goes with along the county's wishes as well. So we're looking for council action on that decision too.
I do know that in the city of St. Michael, my daughter-in-law is the city clerk there, they don't allow any boulevard trees anymore, and it's for the obvious reason, it pushes up the sidewalk, it pushes out the curbs. And it makes sense to not put them in, and it goes in the water and sewer systems.
Yeah, and I did show a picture of each case of that, of the curb being raised and the sidewalk being raised by a boulevard tree.
The tree in their front yard could potentially affect the sidewalk as well.
It could, but that's where we would look at different requirements that it may be, I'm just throwing numbers out there because we haven't researched it yet, but like 10 feet from a sidewalk.
Yeah.
And also, only giving certain trees away. You maybe wouldn't give a spruce tree away, or the roots go shallow and things like that, so.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to entertain donating the tree to the property owners.
I'll second.
Motion by John, second by Mary. Any further discussion at all? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Last item is just a quick little thing. If you guys get those emails from MMUA, from Carlene, who's the CEO, just gives a little rundown of, a recap of the legislative session for that week. They're kind of interesting and they can be important, and reps might strike you, you know, to reach out to your senator or representative. That's all I have unless anybody has any questions.
Doesn't look like it. Thanks, Scott. That brings us to open forum. Anything that anyone would like to bring forward for open forum? That moves us to city administrator's report.
I have a list, primarily update type items. You've been out past the airport, you know that there's progress being made with new key hangers out there. All of the footing foundation, slab, surrounding site work and first lift of bituminous are done, and they're working on setting the actual steel frame for the building now. So that has gone well. Weather has cooperated. Dower Lake Safe Room, the siren is in place and operational. The high-tech construction, you know, basically has put the work order out for the precast concrete, and that's going to be kind of the longest lead time. So they'll be out there as soon as that precast comes in. So that project will probably only last about a month once it does start. 221 Dakota, the house that we did hazardous building resolution on, that is now gone. That was removed by Ideal Construction 2 weeks ago, last week. Minnesota Farmers Union project is basically set to go. Building permit is in. I don't remember the exact date because I heard it third hand. There'll be a groundbreaking out there, but when I find out, I'll extend an invitation to the council. You know, that'll be out in that area west of Voyager, east of Kurt Wilson, straight across the road from Stern. About a $2.5 million build. So be good project to get going instead of being a project we're talking about starting. So trying to push for that, Roy. Ron and I did attend Todd County Development Corp annual meeting in Long Prairie on May 1st. We got an update from them, and so that was a good meeting. We did have our closing on the land sale with Jeff and Linda Johnson, had our closing on the land with Lois Kneisel up in Valley View. With this stuff, I'm starting to think I went into real estate instead of municipal activities, but that's all good stuff. Bike rodeo was last Thursday. We talked a little bit about that. We had a good turnout. It's fun working with the kids. If you're into repairing bikes, if you can oil a chain and straighten handlebars, we have a job for you next year. So come on down. Also, the storage units up on Warner Road, directly to the south of True Value up there, they're starting their second section of storage units up there. So people have a lot of stuff. So. And just a reminder, citywide cleanup coming up on May 30th, Friday, 3 o'clock to 7 o'clock. So collect your goodies. And then finally, you know, I know you probably get emails from the league and coalition and all the rest of that, but update that came out yesterday, the House and the Senate both released their tax bills last week. The Senate tax bill has a $20 million reduction in LGA, which is about $47,000 to the city of Staples. The House tax bill has the same. So if you are so inclined to reach out to any state senator, or all of them for that matter, to advocate for the value of local government aid, that would be a good thing. So that's all I have.
Second.
Motion by Roy, second by John to adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign.